piece is called My Marathon in 5 parts by Julie Green. 1. Treadmill Run, April 16th, 2013. As I figured it, things were not going to be the same for runners for a while. Not for any runner anywhere, not even on a treadmill. As I saw it, a shadow had been cast on the sport. For me, I thought of the marathon runners, how each had been trained for a year to run this event. Yeah, a year. I had heard it takes a year of solid work, specifically training to run this very long distance that our bodies are not really designed to do. I have heard that the half marathon, that is approximately 13 miles, is far easier on the body, whereas the full marathon is well beyond the scope of most people's natural abilities. Running is a solitary activity. I say this because you do it in your head, or at least I do. I've never done it with another person and don't intend to. I can't fathom it as a team thing. I see it as something one person's body does by itself. It's not multiple bodies doing something in cooperation, as is synchronized swimming, or a ballet troupe, or, say, a jazz quartet. And so when I run, I daydream. I go off places, many places. Even when I run at our track called Victory Field, I love to imagine I'm ending my run at Copley Square, where the Boston Marathon ends each year. Yeah, I imagine. Not only I'm the winner in first place at the Boston Marathon, but I'm one of the runners of that race, that I'm competing anywhere. Doesn't matter to me. Only that I've made it to the finish, and I'm congratulated. A wreath of sorts placed around my neck as I pass across the line. I enjoyed this image every time I completed that final lap at Victory Field. I'd speed up as I rounded the curve, and I'd tell myself, Julie, you've done it again. You're a winner. Then I'd leave the track, walk through the gate, and cherish that imagined wreath around my neck. As I walked through Victory Field's small parking lot, careful to avoid exiting cars so they wouldn't back into me, I'd imagine I'd coming home from the Boston Marathon a winner, a protective foil draped over me. Nobody would drive me home. In fact, I was once in Boston's Red Line station and saw marathon runners going home alone on that subway station. Yeah, alone. With that foil draped over them, the foil that told me they'd run the marathon. The solitude of those runners made me so uncomfortable that I guess that's why I felt the need to congratulate them. Now I realize that maybe what they felt inside was enough. After all, they were going home. Or maybe not. It was hard for me to remember. Were they going back to lonely hotels? Well, I don't know. As soon as the weather got too cold to go to the track, I joined the local budget gym that had opened up, Jimmet. Jimmet is operated by a couple of brothers, to my recollection. The staff are always friendly and truly proud of the place, so when I showed up the day after the 2013 Boston Marathon, checked in and said hello to the very kind staff person at the desk, I decided I might as well throw in my 2 cents. I said, I'm not going to be daydreaming that I'm at Copley Square when I'm on my run today. Guess she misunderstood me. She asked me if I'd been a runner at the marathon, that is, the Boston Marathon of past years. I replied, no, not me. I only pretend. I daydream. She laughed. Oh, she said, I get it. We both laughed. But you can pretend you're at the London Marathon. Perhaps, I said. Enjoy yourself, Julie, she said, waving. They call me by my name because I see it on my tag when I check in. I headed off to the locker room, being careful to go to the ladies and not the men's. One of these days I'll make that goof, but I haven't yet. Today, the guy to my right on the treadmill, he was running up a storm already. Now you should have seen this guy. He was so into it. Not that you could blame him after what had happened the day before. He was throwing, "I punch out anyone who ever calls me welfare scum. Oh, you bet I do." But this guy, he was really punching, really throwing his fists while he ran. Well, I thought that was cool. So I began the treadmill, pressed that button. Sure enough, it was going up close to the speed of 4.0, then over 4.0 as I walked. Now, I generally don't let it go past 4.3. See, I'm short. I'm only 5'1" tall. So short folks like me can't walk super fast. But all the while, all I could think of was that anyone who ever looked down on me, they were going to have something to reckon with. Then the music gave its signal for me to break into a run. Now I knew this particular mix would have me running for 20 minutes straight. Now, okay, I knew 20 minutes nonstop was maybe at my age 55, not something I should take lightly. I know I shouldn't do this at breakneck speed. At the same time, I'd done it a few times before the past couple of weeks, so I knew my capabilities. How much can I push myself now? As I began to run, I chose a speed far slower than usual, under 5.0, and suddenly I found myself going into a daydream, and I didn't look back. No, I didn't look back. I looked ahead. I watched that road ahead of me. I watched the pebbles. I didn't want to fall. I concentrated. I thought of my legs. No. I didn't think of my legs at all. My legs were not my legs at all. I thought far, far ahead. I thought of a friend of mine, my friend Michael, whom I'd messaged with on Facebook the day before, my friend Michael who does not have a home. I thought far, far ahead to Copley Square, ahead to Copley Square, to the Boston Public Library. Here, next to the library, there's a grate where the homeless men and women sleep by night, by day, to warm themselves. No, Michael won't be sleeping there. It's the day after the 2013 Boston Marathon, and no homeless folk will be sleeping in Copley Square tonight or any time soon. I thought far, far ahead as I ran on the treadmill, and the guy to the right of me punched as he ran. I punched in my head along with him and said to myself, "Michael, this one's for you." I didn't notice that the music had signaled me to stop running, or I guess I hadn't noticed. In fact, the music had changed to another mix entirely. I hadn't noticed at all. I kept on running, and suddenly noticed I'd gone on much longer than 20 minutes. In fact, I'd gone longer than 30 minutes. I'd run nearly 5K. I kept on running, and there I was. The steps of the library, the green light entrances, and the smell of sausages cooking, everything. I was there. Copley Square. To my left, there had been a cycling of treadmill users. The two that had been there, the two women conversing with each other, had been replaced by two others who'd also conversed with each other. I thought that was kind of funny. The man to my right was about done with his run. I wanted to tell him, "Hey, you rock, fella," but I didn't. I figured it was unnecessary. A mere nod of my head was enough. Finally, I slowed my treadmill to a walk. I wanted to spend some cool down time. I thought of the foil draped over me. I thought of the blankets a homeless person, such as my friend Michael, might keep wrapped around him to stay warm on a cold night. I have passed by that grate many times. It is indeed warm there. I slowed the treadmill further. "Michael, this one's for you." Part 2. when I was 19 and hid in a boat. I suppose I would have done about the same thing. I was a small kid, only 5'1", so I fit in small places. I dared to go anywhere. I wasn't the type to steal. No, I wasn't a thief, not me. I didn't do drugs or alcohol. Even though I ended up with an eating disorder later on, I never stole laxatives or diet pills from stores. That would have been too embarrassing to explain. When you're young and scared, you don't want anyone to see you. So, I was always the invisible one. Always one to sneak around unnoticed. Once me and this girl and her sister, we got real angry. I drove the car. I had the keys. I parked the car. It was my mom's car. The car was orange. What a stupid color. It's stupid 'cause it's noticeable and bright. At least it was a Datsun. Not too far off was a whole field full of yellow school buses. I looked to my right and to my left. So, it was my decision. I say that because I drove that car. So, the one who drives the car, they're the one that decides. I said to the girl and the sister, let's go. We're going to sleep on a bus tonight. I was the oldest, too. I should have known. We were tired. That night, that bus held us 3 angry girls lovingly to its breast, and we slept well. In the morning, all the school buses were getting ready. The fog was lifting, soon to blow our cover, ready to pick up school kids and take them to school. So I said to the girl and her sister, who was perhaps 16 or maybe 18 or 19, okay, let's go. Let's wake up and get off the bus. And so we did. We never got caught. Why did we do it? Because we thought society had wronged us. We thought we deserved a break. Just 3 sulking kids, 2 in their 20s and 1 teen. I can't speak for the other 2, but I will speak for myself right here, right now. I was a scared, lonely, and angry kid with a few secrets. So I kind of get why a 19-year-old will hide on a boat. Hey, I've been there. Part 3, Friday night, 10:30. I couldn't bring myself to make the turn onto Main Street and join the crowds that were cheering and clapping away. I even heard some folks setting off some sort of firecrackers. Instead, I chose to stay on the empty back streets where no one was walking. I heard the sound of wind chimes, and the air was damp. Branches swayed as the wind tossed them this way and that. Today had been our warmest day yet, but we hadn't been allowed out by police. Those guys in uniform who were now being hailed as heroes. Who were they to me, really? How many times had I had to call 911 in the past year? I couldn't even count. Would anything really change now that this had occurred in our town? Would calling 911 be anything different for me, a low-income person living in public housing? Probably not. When I hear a siren, I'm automatically scared. I'm scared they're going to take me someplace really bad. I ask myself, what have I done now? How many times have they searched my apartment unnecessarily when I'd phoned them about something else entirely? How many times have they accused me of things I had not done, only because I'm known to be a mental patient? How many times did they not believe my story, only because other people think I'm crazy? After all, most people dismiss me saying, she's just that nutso lady down the end of the hall. What do you think? Am I only trash to you? Part 4. Puzzles Tears. Date unknown. The sound you're about to hear is the voice of my little dog named Puzzle. On April 18th, the day before lockdown, I stopped eating. I do that now and then. I guess I was an angry kid all over again. April 19th came. Still, I hadn't eaten a thing. I told myself, Julie, this is one of those untold Watertown stories. I'll die, and no one will ever know. Afternoon came. I lay in bed and held my dog Puzzle very close to me. I listened to the sound of helicopters flying round and round and round and round. This recording of Puzzle's voice was made at an unknown time. The police have shown up, and the ambulance has already dragged me away. The sound you hear is Puzzle, left alone, not knowing if she'll ever see me again. Part 5. Michael, this one's for you. I passed by the locker rooms and the front desk where I checked in and said goodbye to the gym staff. I walked outside, crossed the street, and waited for the 70 bus at Arsenal Street. I had to wait a long time. I didn't realize that our town, Watertown, Massachusetts, would at the end of the week be at the center of the world's attention. In fact, right where I was standing at the bus stop, where our tiny shopping malls were, hundreds of cops, FBI people, National Guard, media people, and the military would be all over the place. And it sure wouldn't look like what I was used to seeing. Sure, the atmosphere was tense. But for now, the sun was behind me. A nearly empty water bottle was nestled in my hand, and a daydream ran through my head, as free as daydreams can ever be. Thank you for listening to my story, My Marathon in 5 parts, by Julie Green.